My name is Dan Schmidt. I am the project director with MGT Consulting Group and have been leading the Facilities Master Planning project over the course of the last year. I'm going to take just a few minutes to talk you through a couple of the slides from the board presentation explaining the new Option C that is the product of our work so far in this project. I want to stress that over the course of the last year, this has been the course of the last year, we have been gathering data and working hard to understand the community dynamics here in Chattanooga. Last summer, we put together a preliminary look at the Facilities Master Plan, and then we took things out to the community in the fall and into December to get feedback and reaction to that preliminary look on what a potential solution might be for addressing the facilities issues here in Hamilton County. We're coming back now in January 2020, a year later after we started, to share now with Option C and think about where we might go from here. Three options have evolved along the course of this project. Option A was the fix everything option that cost over $1 billion. Option B was the maximize efficiency option. That option cost just over $800 million. We took option B out to the community and now have option C, which is about $869 million, and it's option C that we're going to focus on in this presentation and when we go out for additional community engagement later this month. Option C was developed in response to what we heard from the community. What did we hear from the community? Well, to begin with, we heard from the community that there's a desire to have a neighborhood school in the Brainerd area. If you recall, in option B, we were closing Brainerd High School, closing Dalewood Middle School, and putting magnet schools in that area. In option C, Brainerd High School moves over to a new 800-student school at the Dalewood Middle School site. Second, we heard don't make Lookout Valley Middle High a K-12. In response, option C keeps both Lookout Mountain and Lookout Valley Elementary schools open and then maintains Lookout Valley Middle High as a 612 building, with the additional redistricting of students over from Howard High School in order to better utilize the available capacity at Lookout Valley Middle High. We heard from the community that we should rethink consolidating all of the vocational education programs at the current Barger site. And in response, option C maintains and keeps open Sequoia High School, Hamilton County High School, and then also adds the third site at the current Barger Elementary School site, so that there would be 3 regional vocational program sites. We heard from the community that we needed to ensure that CCA has the facilities that it needs to support its programs. And while it was always the situation, always the desire that and the intent that the facilities would be developed to serve that program, we're making it clear and plain in this program that any building that CCA would move to would be fully renovated or brand new. That decision hasn't been fully made. But it would be 1,300 students in capacity, would be K-12 and state-of-the-art in order to support the CCA program. And finally, we heard a lot from the community about preserving the arts program at Barger Elementary. In response to this feedback from the community, option C would move the arts program from Barger Elementary to the 1,300 student K-12 building shared with CCA at the Brainerd site. The non-arts program students at Barger would be absorbed by the surrounding elementary schools, but the arts program would be combined with the CCA program, creating the K-12 opportunity. Those are the things that we heard from the community as we asked the community to respond to option C or to option B and responded with option C. Option C then totals $869 million. Within the slide deck, you can see that there is a summary of option C and how each of these schools are touched. To orient you even further, those schools that are identified in bold are those schools that are being touched in more than one way or in more than one category. There's lots of different moving parts, and so we've summarized it here as a way of saying, don't look at the list to see what is happening with a particular school, but rather within these categories, how are they impacting a particular school. Throughout all of it, you can see how the option C reacts to what we heard from the community and responds accordingly. For next steps, we have more focus groups and community forums coming later this month on January 28th and 29th. I encourage you to look for announcements related to those community forums and come out and tell us what you think about option C. The online survey that is accompanying this presentation also gives you an opportunity to provide feedback on that option C. We'll be spending February finalizing our recommendation and putting together a plan for phasing in the implementation of a master plan, and then coming to the board in March with our final recommendation. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video and for answering the questions on the survey. Have a good day.